Welcome back to Quilts Bloom at Dawn. Have you ever stopped to think, what is your favorite part of the quilting process? When we think of making a quilt, we think of the cutting, the piecing, the basting, the quilting, the binding, right? But you know what my most favorite part of the whole process is? The very beginning, before you even know what you're going to make. It's the part where you get to let your creativity flow and really just look at all the beautiful options that are out there. So many designers are making such beautiful patterns for us and all the fabrics to choose from. That's my favorite part, figuring out what I want to use, what patterns, and then just watching it come to life. That's my most favorite part of the process. Now that I'm winding down on several other projects, that's where I sit today. I'm at the very beginning when I get to figure out what I want to do next. Today is also exciting because one of my chosen collections for the year, which happens to be Camille Ross Kelly's Nantucket Summer, her reprint collection, it arrived. I'm so excited. I have been waiting for this to return all year long, and finally it's here. So I've gone on ahead and wrapped it on my comic book board. Not only do I have the Nantucket Summer collection, I've also selected some of the other fabrics that I have in my stash, most of which happen to be Camille Ross Kelly's other collections, and I've paired those with this collection because they play together so nicely. So you're able to use the fabrics from collection to collection. As I've been just waiting for Nantucket Summer collection to come out, I've been thinking about what projects I want to do first. Because it's one of my chosen collections, I've definitely purchased a little bit more fabric than I probably normally do. I know it's literally probably my all-time favorite collection. I want to make sure I get enough of it because you know how it goes with Moda. If you don't get it when the collections come out, that's it, they're gone. So I feel like I got a second chance with this Nantucket Summer collection because they just happened to reprint it. So I don't dare want to miss it this time. As I've been going through my quilting books, looking at different patterns, there's a couple that have really caught my eye that I'm considering for this collection. One of those patterns is in the Celebrate with Quilts book by Lisa Alexander and Susan Aki. If you don't have this book, I highly recommend it. It is definitely full of so many great block ideas, patterns. I like the color options they use. I have probably looked through this book at least 50 times, looking at all the different blocks, the patterns, and I've admired them for so long, yet I have not had an opportunity to actually make one of these quilts yet. With this Nantucket Summer collection, I think I found the right project. One of the patterns in this book is called the Blue Willow Quilt. Well, this Nantucket Summer collection is just so many shades of blues, and when I began looking at the different patterns again, this was the pattern that caught my eye. This is the one I really wanted to make from this book first. And if you have the book, it's on page 106, but I'm also going to include a picture here for you to take a look at. And you can just see the blocks are just beautiful. I love the patterns that it makes. And then of course, it's all blue and white. Another book that I absolutely love, it's another book by Lori Holt. Of course, last week I mentioned Scrappiness is Happiness. Now that one is still my all-time favorite. But she's also come out, her most recent one has been the Prairie Home book. And again, her books are just full of so many patterns. Even if you're not necessarily into more of the prairie look, it's still full of so many patterns that are really great to add to your collection of patterns. When you purchase her books, you really get a lot of patterns, a lot of blocks, and just lots of useful information. One of the patterns that caught my eye in this book, probably my favorite pattern in the whole book, it's the Hearth and Home quilt, and it's on page 130. And that's another pattern that just, again, really caught my eye. It has the sawtooth star, and I just love the patterns the blocks make surrounding it. It's got a lot of different colors, and I just felt like with this collection, obviously it's going to mostly be shades of blues and a little bit of the green, but I just thought this would be so beautiful in this pattern, bringing it to a little bit more of a nautical feel. I think it would be really pretty. So that's the one I'm really looking at trying to do out of the Prairie Home book. The third pattern that I have here is Galway Bay. It's a Missouri Star pattern. I love this one so much that I've actually made it 3 times. I've made it twice using Camille Ross Kelly's Shoreline collection, and then I made it once using a third collection for my brother. So the one I have pictured is the one I made for me with the Shoreline collection. When I made this one, my sister fell in love with everything about it. I could tell she wanted it, so I went and bought all the fabric and made another identical one for her for Christmas. However, as I was getting ready to make it, my little niece mentioned, too bad it doesn't have lighthouses in it, because my sister loves lighthouses. I started thinking, well, surely I could find a lighthouse block. So literally my niece making that comment right before I started making the quilt totally changed the pattern. So the one I have pictured is exactly like this pattern, the Galway Bay, but the one I made for my sister, and I'll go ahead and try to include a picture of that for you to see. The one I made for my sister actually has the several lighthouse blocks, and literally the morning my niece was leaving for school, she mentioned this to me, and I scoured the internet looking for a lighthouse block pattern. And I'll include a link to that as well. I found one on Etsy. It's not difficult to make. I went on ahead and just made several of those lighthouses using the Shoreline collection at that time and incorporated that into this Galway Bay pattern. You see there's a lot of white space on this pattern, so I felt like I could really incorporate it and it wouldn't take away from the design of this pattern at all. It would actually just elevate it, I thought. So once I made the one for my sister, ever since then I've been thinking, well, I want one with lighthouse blocks too. So that's my goal, is to make one now that I have the Nantucket collection, to go ahead and make that as well. Now you would think 3 projects is enough, but no, it's not. There's still a couple more that I'm considering. Now obviously I'm not going to do these all at once, but these are just on my list of projects that I'm planning to do with this collection. Some of them sooner rather than later. Obviously, fall is just around the corner, then Christmas, but I'm going to definitely tackle as many of these projects as I can before I start working on fall and Christmas. And then whatever I don't finish, of course, I can always continue to work on these moving into 2026. Now, another fabric that you see here in front of me is the cheater print for the new Nantucket Summer collection. And oh my goodness, of all the blocks, the Swoon is my favorite. I know that it's just hitting stores, so it's likely available at your favorite quilt shop. I bought this from Fat Quarter Shop. The quilt that's on my bed right now is the Swoon 16 pattern from the Rosemary Cottage collection. And so when I saw this Swoon cheater print, I didn't just want a little of it. I got the whole bolt. It was a 10-yard bolt, and I've just been dreaming of things that I could make with it. I'm planning to likely do, obviously, just a quilt itself, just a nice, big, comfortable quilt where I just literally take this fabric, put some binding on it, and I'll probably do a walking foot, vertical or horizontal lines, something so simple, but it's going to make a beautiful quilt. I'm also hoping to make some pillows, maybe a table runner, maybe even some placemats. I really just want to decorate my home. This blends so well with the colors of my home, so I'm just really excited to see what all I can make with this. Another idea is to incorporate it into patterns that you're making. For example, wouldn't this be a beautiful border to just start taking some of these blocks and make that be your whole border all around the quilt? So like I said, the possibilities are endless. With something so beautiful, I just cannot wait to see this come to life. Okay, now I'm so excited to show you the actual Nantucket Summer collection, and I'll show you some of my absolute favorites. So these 3 are color variations of the same print, but in just different shades. So you have the light blue, the medium blue, and the dark blue. So it's probably my favorite print from the whole collection. I just love those little blue flowers on it. Again, just something so simple, but yet so beautiful. Another one of my favorites, I just love this. And I don't know if I want to use this maybe as a background for something, but it might be a little busy for a background, but it's just beautiful. And again, she has that one in various shades. So of course that's the blue, but then here you have the the white. You have it's like a cream color with the blue in it. And here's a dark blue with the same. And then here's yet another that's, again, you have the white, but then you have the dark blue on the white. Another one that I really love is just this. And that just almost looks like that blue willow. Matter of fact, wouldn't that be a beautiful backing for that? Now, of course, I don't have enough, but it's really pretty. And then this one is a dark blue against the white. So same print, just the dark blue instead of the medium blue. Now this was another one like this, but it's in the green. And while green is probably not my favorite color, when you pair it with this collection, I just love the way the green plays against the blue. So then we have some geometric shapes here. Now this was actually, I think I had this one from her Shoreline collection. So this is really left over. This is the sail fabric. And I have it in the green, but I also had it in the sail. And then this is definitely probably the focal prints from her collection. And again, just different shades of it. So you have the light blue, the dark blue, and this is the white with the blues and the green stems. So this is everything I bought from, now there are others. This is the prints that I selected from the collection. And then I'm pairing that with what I already had. Now this is a fabric, I actually got it quite a while ago. It was a clearance print and it's from her Sunnyside collection. But look how pretty it plays with this. Isn't that so pretty? This one is actually from her Rosemary Cottage collection. That's what I've been using a lot of this, but I love to use this particular print. I love making binding out of this. I think I've made probably 5 or 6 bindings using this fabric. I have it in different colors, but the navy is definitely my favorite. Now here is another geometric design, and this is also from the Sunnyside collection, same as this one. I don't have a lot of this one, but this is from her Summertime collection. And so I have a little bit of this left. This I thought would make just really maybe just center blocks, something just again for pops of color. Now this one is another one from her Rosemary Cottage. I loved this print, so I have a fair amount of it. I wanted to make sure I got plenty of it before it's gone. And I will likely use this as a backing for something. I just love, again, the simplicity of the little flower, and it creates its own little diagonal shapes. I just love that. Matter of fact, this is the backing for the quilt that I have on my bed, the one with the Rosemary Cottage collection. I got lots of this for the backing for that, and that's a king size that I have on my bed. But I literally bought more of it because I wanted to make sure I had it, knowing this collection was going to be coming out. Now this is one more from her Summertime collection. I think it'll still play really nicely with it. So I'm excited to see how this goes. Obviously, I have so many options that it's really the challenge is going to be selecting from all these options. But these are my favorite colors. If you look at my stash, almost everything I have is blues. So really, I have an endless supply of options to use. But I pulled the ones that I felt were the most closely aligned with this collection. Now this is actually some leftover from the Shoreline. And in addition to this, I actually had gotten a whole set of fat quarters from the Shoreline collection. And look how similar and how well it plays with all of these as well. So I'm really excited now. The Shoreline is what I used to make the quilt that's hanging. So I love every print in this one. So I'm super excited to still have some of this fabric to play with the Nantucket collection. The rest of the ones that I have in the basket, now these are actually not Camille fabrics. These are other collections, but I just really thought they played nicely and blended. This one might look familiar. This is actually a Layla Boutique from her Old Glory collection. I just used this as the border in my fireworks quilt I just recently made, but the blues in this go with this collection so well. Now where all the rest of these have been Moda, this is actually a Riley Blake fabric. And it's one of my favorite designers from Riley Blake. It's Amy Smart. I love her collections, and so this is this plays really nicely with it. So I'll pair this with this as well. Now this one is actually from Sherry and Chelsea. It's from her Emma collection. I just love the shade of this blue, and honestly I was thinking, wouldn't this be a beautiful background on a quilt? And I have a fair amount of it, so that's what I'm considering using this for, is actually using it as a background and maybe building on top of it with some blocks. So that's kind of what I have maybe in my mind for this one. Now this one's another Riley Blake print. It's called Countryside by Lisa Audit. And again, another geometric that I felt played pretty nicely. And then one more Sunnyside. I actually ended up with a lot of Sunnyside from Camille Ross Kelly's collection. So just one more that I had there. So what I'm doing is I pulled all of these, and I'll actually keep all of these fabrics together. So while I had it in this basket for display purposes, this is what I normally keep them in. And I'll keep all of these fabrics together so that when I'm working on projects, I don't have to go hunt fabrics. I have them all together. And so I'll just be pulling from this, like I said, not just over the next several months, but literally for the next year. I'll have all of these fabrics grouped together, so when I'm ready to make another project from this collection, I can just pull it easily. Well, this has been so much fun just to get to show you my absolute favorite collection, this Nantucket Summer. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to get started. And we will be getting started soon. But first, we have to finish up our trip around the island, which is also so beautiful, and we're so close to the finish line. And again, this is the challenging part when you're kind of trudging through the last couple steps of the quilt making process, and your mind is already really moving on to another project, or two, or three, and you've got to stay committed, stay focused, and finish where you're at. So that's what I'm doing, but I can still look forward to this next step. So I hope you join me, and I look forward to several sew-alongs with this Nantucket Summer collection. Before we close out today's video, I'm so excited to share one more thing that I look forward to every month coming in the mail, and that is my Sew Sampler box from the Fat Quarter shop. If you have not checked this out, I highly recommend it. I feel like I'm getting a Christmas present every month, and I'm really bad. I normally kind of know what I'm getting for a lot of my gifts for birthdays and Christmas, but not with this box. I have no idea what's coming, and I think that's why I love it so much. You know, chances are you're probably gonna love what's in this box, but then to not even know what's in it, and it's like all month you're just wondering what's gonna be in that next box. So it came in the mail today, and I am so excited to get to show you. So I did peek, but I didn't look for long. But let's take a look at a box. And for those of you that get the Sew Sampler box, if you haven't gotten yours yet, you may want to look away because I'm getting ready to open this box. So now let's look together. It's always, first of all, these little teal boxes. They're just pretty. I keep every one. I know I have to stop that. I can't keep them all, but they're just hard to throw away because they're just such cute boxes. Okay, but then, and look, even the lid of the box is so pretty. Okay, then you open it up and there's always the date and it has a name. So the theme for this one is Sewing Wild, August 2025. So it's certainly a good idea to turn it over, look at the back, read about it, and she shares additional information, QR codes. So here's one where it says download the free quilt pattern here. So literally here's another option of something you can do, and it's a free pattern. And in this one, it even has a promo code that's always included. All right, so let's see what's in here. Okay, well, I'm drawn to the fabric right away because guess what? It's blues. It's charm packs of blues, and it's one of my favorite designers. It's Shelly Kavanaugh of Benartex, and again, if you're not familiar, she's the one who made the Barnstar Sampler and the new Flower Sampler book that just came out, which I've gotten. I'm looking forward to doing that one. I'm currently making the Barnstar Sampler right now, and so yay, I've got some of her fabric, and I have not had her fabric before, so I'm really excited to play with it. And it's not one charm pack, it's not two charm packs, 3 charm packs in this box. Wow, you can really make something with 3 charm packs. So this is beautiful. Now I am not going to open it right now, but on the back you can see what all the different color variations of this collection, and it looks like it's some brighter blues, variations of blues against some bright green, and then a little bit of light blue, but definitely in shades of blues and greens. Again, my favorite. So I'm looking forward to using this. This is definitely a win for this box. This alone is a win. I'm really excited about this too. A Creative Grids 4-in-1 Hexie ruler. I literally was looking at this on Fat Quarter Shop just in the last week, thinking about buying this. I'm so glad I didn't because here it is. And looks like you can make a lot of different ones. Well, first of all, Creative Grids, that is my ruler of choice. I can already tell. I'm already looking forward to going and researching patterns that I can use to make with this Hexie. So this is going to be great. And obviously, now she always, in the boxes, it'll be fabric. And then if she gives you a template like this, it's going to be able to make a specific pattern that's likely in this box. So let's keep going. All right, so here we are. We have, oh wow, this is pretty. This is a pattern from Fat Quarter Shop, and it's called Rain Lilies, and it's a table runner pattern. All the patterns that come in these boxes are exclusive. So this pattern, the only way you're going to get this is in a Sew Sampler box. And that is a beautiful table runner. I love that. This is one I definitely would be interested in making. So this pattern tells you you'll need to use 2 charm packs to make this pattern. So here we go. So we would use 2 of these and we'd still have 1 left over. Or if this is not what you want to do, she always has another quilt idea for you. And again, this is on the back and it's a free pattern for you to download. So if you prefer, instead of doing this, you can make this quilt. And with this pattern, you'll use this template or ruler from Creative Grids, the Hexie ruler, to make this pattern. Okay, also in here is the flowering. So this is a sampler that it's a sew along that you can do. It's again exclusive to Fat Quarter Shop in the Sew Sampler boxes. And this is one where for the whole year, every month, she gives you the next block. So it doesn't have the fabric to go with it. It's just the pattern itself. So this is block number 5. I've not started making these yet, but I'm looking forward to it. And it's just another sew along if you're looking for another project to work on. Okay, then let's see what else we have. Looks like we have a Sew Line Air Erasing Pen. So I will be checking this out. I actually was just saying I need something like this, especially a color that's not blue. Since all my fabric is blue, I really need something that I can mark against that's, again, going to be a different color. So I think this is going to be great. I'll check that out. This is a great way, again, most of her box includes some sort of a notion. Sometimes it's a spool of RFL thread or superior thread. Matter of fact, here's one of my favorites I've gotten. This was a little vacuum cleaner from Fat Quarter Shop, one of their exclusives. I love that. Here's another thing I've gotten from a box. Little cutting, just the perfect, again, it's the aqua blue. It's called Kimberly's Color, and it's just a little cutting mat. And how many times do we just need something small? So I keep this one sitting next to my sewing machine for when I just need to make little cuts there. So there's just been so many little things that I've picked up along the way. The last thing in this box is a little card that tells you about everything in your box. And I love this. I look forward to reading this entire card. I look at every little bit of it and read about it. And so it'll tell me about, for example, the Sew Line Air Erasable Fabric Pen, and it'll tell me all about it. It tells me the value of it. So I've always found these boxes to be a great value. So Definitely recommend the Sew Sampler box if you are looking for a little something extra to do for yourself. And think about it this way. It's like getting what? A manicure, right? So just a little something for you. So anyway, highly recommend it. And if you're not already signed up, recommend you get it. The great thing about the Sew Sampler boxes is there's no commitment. You can sign up, try it for a while. If you love it, keep it coming. If you decide that you need to take a break, or maybe you've just got a backlog of projects, you can stop it. And then when you're ready, resume it again. But chances are you're going to want to keep this box coming. Thank you so much for joining me today. Normally I have videos that come out once a week on Saturdays. However, this week the video was going to be a little bit longer because we're going to actually be doing our quilting. So I decided to break this one in two, and that way we could really just focus on the beautiful Nantucket Summer collection and then still spend the rest of the video time on our sew along, because we've got some work to do to get that project finished up. If you're currently doing the sew along, join us Saturday. We'll be doing our quilting. Even if you're not participating in the trip around the island sew along, I encourage you to join us if you're looking for some tips on the quilting process. We'll be looking at specific tools that are helpful when you're going to be quilting, as well as a couple books that I've purchased along the way that have helped me. And then we're going to actually do a demonstration of the walking foot on our trip around the island. And by the end, we'll look at the finished product. We'll also take a few minutes to look at the scrapping project that I had shown a couple videos ago. That was the bluebirds and the 9 patches on point. I don't have a name for that one yet, but it's that project. So on that one, I decided to quilt that one with nothing but free motion swirls. And so in addition to showing the walking foot quilting, we'll also take a look at a demonstration of the swirls on our bluebird and 9 patch quilt. So I hope you join us Saturday. Until next time, happy quilting!